the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence in honor of our servicemen and women and those who have given the ultimate sacrifice. Clerk will call the roll.
Councilor Anderson. Councilor Kamel. Councilor Condon. Councilor Crowe. Councilor DeMaria. Councilor Matheson. Councilor Murphy. Councilor O'Malley. He's here.
He's here
Councilor Spatafora.
He's here.
Councilor Winslow. He's here. Council President Sika.
Here. Under the provisions of the open meeting law, for those of you in attendance, please be informed that MATV is recording this evening's meeting. Also, one of our Malden residents, John Mayara, will also be recording tonight's meeting. So please be aware there will be audio and video recording of this meeting. First order of business.
Order that the council appoint an acting interim municipal hearing officer.
Councilor Crowe for the paper.
Thank you, Madam President. We've all gotten the information that our municipal hearings officers will be taking a little time out of the city until mid-August, and in doing so, we need to appoint an acting interim municipal hearings officer just to make sure that if they don't meet, to make sure that those petitions are being heard. Otherwise, we'll be in the same situation we were before. And you have twice monthly that they need to meet. So instead of sending this to appointments and personnel, that I would make a motion that we allow Councilor Sika, as the council president, to appoint an interim hearings officer until we return in September, and we should have our regular person back, and instead of take up so much time.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Did you want to speak, Councilor Spatafora? You pressed the button.
I mean, I second it, not
Okay.
that but I'll speak on it. You gave me the opportunity. I would second it only, I know we like to be procedural here, and I'm a big believer of sending people to personnel, but given the date and the temporary status of this individual and who this individual filling in is, I don't think it's any surprise that if we went to personnel, we would probably learn nothing new about this individual. We're very well versed. She knows the council, she knows the city organization, and that's why I think it's worth, she has the training, why we should just expedite this process. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. On Councilor Crow's motion to allow me to appoint an interim municipal hearings officer, seconded by Councilor Spatafora. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Next order of business. Yeah, that was good.
Committee report, finance paper 249 of 19, order, annual appropriations order for fiscal year 2020, city budget. The committee recommends that the paper be reported out favorably as amended to the full city council. The amendments are increase the controller's salaries to $77,104.63, increase conservation commission stipends to $4,550, increase board of appeals stipend to $1,200, for a total increase of free cash in the sum of $82,854.63.
On Councilor Kamel's motion to receive the committee report, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The committee report is received. Councilor Kamel for the committee.
Thank you. So over the past, I believe, a month now, we've been holding finance committee meetings. We've had in quite a few, majority of the department heads to discuss the budget. It's a good budget. I believe it's about $2.6 million being used of free cash, but the projection is from under budget and other fiscal year 2019 adjustments. We'll actually be adding a net $1 million to our free cash when all is said and done, so that it is good, heading in the right direction. Department heads were generally almost, not quite unanimously, almost unanimously happy with what they have. We had a few folks make some bring up some points about salary adjustments. It was a feeling of the committee, though, that taking those as, addressing those, you know, in a ad hoc way, just because of the folks that came in front of us when there were probably other situations in the city that we should take a look at, wasn't the right way to go about it. The mayor has committed to working with the HR director to look at the salary adjustments across the board and do it in a holistic way and a systematic way, so that's probably the better way forward for us. A lot of good debate happened specifically around the position of an internal auditor. And we made several other requests here in terms of Conservation Commission stipends and Board of Appeals stipends to address some minor concerns. We voted in favor of those, and the mayor immediately agreed to them. So we ended up voting out unanimously to recommend the budget favorably. So I look forward to any further questions and good debate from my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Winslow.
Yeah, I just want to thank Councilor Kamel for the great leadership he did on working us through and meeting with department heads, and all the department heads for coming out and actually being patient. Sometimes we had to roll over to the next time. So I think we had a very good and thorough vetting of the various items, and you know, just I think it was a very good job. I'm very excited to see that not only we adding the auditor position, which I know has been a long standing request from our management letters for our finances, but also a transportation staffer who will help us address more systematically some of our transportation issues. I know a lot of our councilors were just at Traffic Commission. You can see the challenge that our community members are asking us to make our streets safer for all users, and I think a transportation planner or engineer, whatever we end up hiring, will be an essential part of helping our Traffic Commission and our community make more knowledgeable decisions on that. So I'm very excited. We'll be voting favorably on this. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilor Murphy.
Thank you, Madam President. And yes, we had a good debate in finance. I think that we really vetted this budget, as Councilor Winslow said, down to a granular level. It was nice to see that, you know, there were some things that were done prior to the budget, like agreement to have a new ladder truck and a new pumper. So I think the fire department's very happy, and mostly everyone's wishes have been granted. What I do want to say is I would like to thank the Controller's Department, Mr. Ranigan, Maria Louise, the mayor, Mr. Hogan, and I'm sure I'm missing somebody else who was probably intricately involved in the actual budget process, because this starts in the mayor's office in January. This is something that takes months and months and months to put together. And I want to say that this budget came down to us in such good shape that there was really not much we had to add to it. So this is one of the easiest budget cycles that I've been through, so I just wanted to thank everyone who put all of the work into getting it down to us in that fashion, and say thank you, because it made our job a lot easier. So thank you. And excuse me, and Jonathan. Where'd Jonathan go? He's here somewhere. So, but I'm sure there's a few other people I forgot, and I do apologize. But great job, all in all, for the team. So.
Thank you. Councilor Matheson.
Thank you, Chair, and I'll try not to be repetitive, but thank you and congratulations to everyone on the finance team that worked on the budget. This was the smoothest budget that we've seen in many, many years. Councilor Winslow mentioned the transportation staffer. I think that's terrific. One concern that I know many residents have is the traffic in the city, signal timing, pedestrian safety, as well as bicycle safety, so I think taking this issue very seriously is important. We also saw that we gave attention to the Pay Equity Act for quite several cycles now. We've been talking about how some individuals were underpaid, and to have pay equal for men as it is women is very, very important. And we've finally taken that seriously, and we've saw, I believe, 6 salary increases as a result. And I know that in the discussion, the law department had some increases that they were looking for as well, to be commensurate with other similar positions. The auditor position, I think, is a great one. I'm glad to see that being added. What I have not seen added yet is a CFO position. I know that when we did the treasurer hearings, we had talked about perhaps converting that or adding a CFO, and we saw in the latest management letter from the audit that our operating accounts were yielding less than 1% interest, about $150,000 in interest versus $500,000 or more that we could have potentially held from those operating accounts, and that's been going on for a few years. So I think there's clear need for a CFO position, but all in all, I saw a lot of level-funded departments, and I spoke with the department heads, and they seemed satisfied with what we saw in this budget. And as Councilor Murphy said, it was a less contentious budget than years past because it went so smoothly. Great thanks to the finance team for that. So thank you very much, Chair. I'll be supporting the budget.
Thank you. Councilor Kamel, would you like to make a motion?
I move that the council approve the budget for the fiscal year 2020 as amended by the Finance Committee.
On Councilor Kamel's motion to adopt the order seconded by Councilor Murphy as amended, adopt as amended, sorry. The clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Anderson? Yes. Counselor Kamel? Yes. Counselor Condon? Yes. Counselor Crowe? Yes. Counselor DeMaria? Yes. Counselor Matheson? Yes. Counselor Murphy? Yes. Counselor O'Malley? Yes. Counselor Spatafora? Yes. Counselor Winslow? Yes. Council President Sika?
Yes. The order is adopted. Next order of business.
That's all I have.
The docket is clear. Does anybody wish to speak for personal privilege? Councilor Matheson.
Thank you, Chair. So I don't want to get too repetitive, but we did pass a rule last year that said we weren't going to pass ordinances or papers during committee of the whole meetings. Clearly, we've done something different this year, which is fine if that's going to be our practice. We just have to amend our rules to allow for it. I think one of the reasons for that rule was that sometimes important business gets passed outside of the public view when the cameras aren't on. We do have the cameras on today, which is great, and we also have residents that film these meetings now because they're very interested and conscientious. What I would suggest is following Medford's lead. Medford has just changed their rules that their committee of the whole is now being televised in their local access channel. So perhaps we ought to televise meetings that occur on every Tuesday and abandon this rule that we're not heeding anyway, that says we're not going to pass things in committee of the whole because that seems to be our practice anyway. So that's just a little bit of technical stuff. As far as my personal privilege time, I'll say that Ward 3 is having a meeting this Thursday, June 20th at the BB School to cover all ward events. And if you know Ward 3, we've got everything from the humdrum to the, which might be, the different block parties or the 4th of July information that you've heard in the past. But we're also going to be covering the big topics of the Fellsway East Corridor reconstruction. We got $1 million for a fix over there. Malden's most dangerous intersection, we'll talk about that. That construction's happening this year. And Malden Hospital. Not huge developments over there, but we have lots of curious residents. This is a great time for some Q&A. So if you want to come on down to the BB, you don't have to be from Ward 3. I encourage everyone, whether you work for the city or live anywhere in the city, come on down to the BB Auditorium. That'll be this Thursday at 6 o'clock. Look forward to seeing you there. If you can't make it, feel free to email me, jmatheson@cityofmalden.org, or give me a call. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilor Anderson.
Thank you, Madam President. There's tomorrow, the 19th of June, is the anniversary of what is known as Juneteenth. It is the day back in 1867, I guess it was, that African slaves in Texas were given the word that slavery had been abolished. This was 2 years after the actual signing of the Emancipation Proclamation, and that word didn't get to those slaves in Texas but 2 years afterwards. And so there is a celebration that takes place, a commemoration that takes place around the country known as Juneteenth, which is tomorrow. And so here in the city of Malden, at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, there will be a celebration here at the at the senior center. There'll be a flag raising in commemoration of the Juneteenth, as well as 6:30 in the evening tomorrow. So I would encourage all of my colleagues and all of the citizens of Malden to take heed and participate in this significant celebration, which represents, you know, the ending of a real stain on American history. The stain of slavery on American history is celebrated by the Juneteenth celebration. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor O'Malley.
Thank you, Madam President. The following day, June 20th, this Thursday, Malden Arts will be having their unveiling of their first pocket park on Canal Street. Did I steal it from you?
Yep.
Sorry, I just realized it's Ward 1. I'm going to pass it over to Peg.
Thank you. Councilor Crowe.
Thank you, Councilor O'Malley. Yes, the Art Line will have their first unveiling on Canal Street, across from Cambridge Health Alliance, Thursday at 5:30. They have a beautiful sculpture and a bench that is really very, very well crafted. And so come on down, they'll have some speakers, and it'll be a great celebration. And after that, actually, at 6:30, the Teen Center will be having they had gone to Washington a few weeks ago, or maybe a month ago now. And so that group is really going to talk about their experiences and what they're sort of bringing back to Malden as a part of their civic engagement. So I hope to see you Thursday at 5:30 on Canal Street and then at the Teen Center.
Thank you. Councilor Condon.
Thank you, Madam President. June 27th at the Beebe School, I believe it's at 6:30, we'll be having our first meeting on resident parking, which will address the overnight parking situation. Then we'll be having 3 meetings in July, which the public will be notified. I think we're on schedule to get them notified through the water bills, my understanding. So we'll have 3 meetings in July right across the city, and it addresses the proposed resident parking for overnight parking, because there's so many complaints from our Malden citizens here of cars, out-of-state cars that have been here for a long time. There's people that don't have their vehicles registered in the city, but park them here. So we expect that we'll be able to get this off and running before the end of the year on the overnight parking, and get the proper signage up also. So hopefully you can attend. It's next Thursday at 6:30 at the Beebe Auditorium. Thank you. And also, I would like to let the public know, as you know, we have the 3rd and 4th of July, which Ward 1 and Ward 2 work together on. The 3rd of July is at Green Street Park. And I know we're televised next week, but I'd like to take this opportunity to let everybody know in Ward 1 and 2 that we will not refuse any help, because every year it seems to get bigger and a little more difficult to run, you know, but we need people to come down and help us. We'll put you to work, we promise. And if you can see fit to give us a few hours 4th of July morning, and also I'm sure Peg can use some help July 3rd. So we look forward to seeing everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. And we will still be having our Finance Committee meeting immediately after this meeting. We've got a little short for time before the 7 o'clock, so. Councilor Winslow.
Yeah, I know maybe Councilor Camel also chime in on this a little bit. At Trafton Park on Saturday morning, June 29th at 9 a.m., there's going to be a cleanup in sort of anticipation of July 4th, and then I will hand it off to Councilor Camel to talk about July 4th.
Yep.
Councilor Camel.
Thank you. And immediately after that, at 10:30, we're going to have a sort of an optional volunteer meeting for those who are going to volunteer for 4th of July. Or if you do, as Council Condon offered wards 1 and 2, if you live in Ward 6, come on down and offer to help. We will definitely have work for you to do, but it's going to be, a great tradition here in Malden that we all have, that we all have in each of our neighborhoods, that you kind of come down, have a great day with the family, and celebrate this great country of ours. So thank you very much, and thank you, Councilor Winslow, for the great assist.
Thank you. We have a motion to adjourn? Councilor DiMaria's motion to adjourn. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Meeting has been adjourned.